By the dawn of the 7th century, the Maya world had become a dazzling mosaic of power and creativity. From the jungles of Guatemala to the plains of Yucatan, cities flourished, their skylines crowned with soaring temples, palaces, and vast plazas that proclaimed the authority of kings. Trade networks carried obsidian, jade, cacao, and feathers across great distances, weaving the Maya into the wider fabric of Mesoamerica. Merchants and caravans connected city-states not just through goods, but through stories, ideas, and traditions. Art and scholarship reached new heights. Murals and painted ceramics told the myths of creation, the triumphs of rulers, and the rituals that bound the people to the gods. Scribes filled folding books made of bark paper with hieroglyphs preserving history, astronomy, and prophecy for generations to come. This was a world where power was expressed not only in stone and conquest, but also in knowledge and imagination. The stage was set for the Maya's greatest centuries, an age of brilliance, rivalry, and glory at the very height of their civilization. Amid the vast rainforests of the central lowlands, one city rose higher and shone brighter than nearly all the rest. Tikal, the city of the Great Jaguar. By the 7th century, Tikal had become a center of politics, religion, and power, home to tens of thousands of people. Its rulers commanded the construction of immense pyramids, their temples rising above the canopy like stone mountains. At their feet, wide ceremonial plazas bustled with markets, rituals, and festivals that bound the community together under the watch of the gods. The dynasty of Tikal was strengthened not only by warfare, but by careful diplomacy. Marriage alliances tied its kings and queens to other noble houses, weaving a network of loyalty that extended across the Maya world. Each ruler carved stele in stone, proclaiming victories, ancestry, and divine favor, reminders that their authority was rooted in both blood and the heavens. Tikal's influence stretched far and wide, setting the stage for rivalries and conflicts that would shape the very destiny of the Maya. While Tikal rose as a great city in the central lowlands, another power was taking shape to the north. Calakmul, known as the Snake Kingdom. Hidden deep within the forests, Calakmul grew into one of the largest Maya cities ever built, with sprawling palaces, pyramids, and causeways that stretched across the jungle. The kings of Calakmul adopted the serpent as their sacred emblem, a symbol of renewal, wisdom, and cosmic power. By claiming this divine connection, they cast themselves not just as rulers of men, but as chosen intermediaries between gods and earth. Their dynasty became known as the Snake Lords, feared and respected across Mesoamerica. Calakmul's strength lay in its web of alliances. Through warfare, tribute, and strategic marriages, it bound dozens of smaller cities into its orbit. Each new conquest expanded its reach, and every victory was carved in stone stele that proclaimed the glory of its kings. In time, Calakmul stood as Tikal's greatest rival. Their rivalry was not a single war, but a centuries-long struggle for dominance, where religion, politics, and power collided. Together, these two superpowers would decide the fate of the Maya world. As the 7th century dawned, the Maya world stood on edge. Peace had dissolved, and two mighty capitals, Tikal in the central jungles and Calakmul to the north, commanded rival coalitions that stretched across Mesoamerica. Their contest for supremacy would determine the fate of nearly every kingdom. Rulers turned their cities into theaters of dominance. Pyramids climbed ever higher into the sky. Temples glittered with divine authority, and sprawling plazas became galleries of stone stele, each monument a record of triumph or humiliation. Yet these wars were rarely about territory alone. They were struggles for honor and renown. To seize a rival noble or even a king meant unparalleled prestige, the chance to display captives in ritual sacrifice and claim the favor of the gods. In the wake of such victories, entire cities could abandon their loyalties overnight. Control of trade routes, streams of tribute, and sacred legitimacy all hung in the balance. When Tikal and Calakmul clashed, the tremors spread far beyond the battlefield, compelling lesser lords to choose allegiance or be swept aside. For generations, their rivalry raged like a fire, defining the classic Maya era as an age of brilliance and relentless conflict. For more than a century, Calakmul's Snake Kings held the upper hand, pressing their dominance across the Maya world. Tikal, once a proud superpower, seemed destined to remain in the shadow of its rival. But in the late 7th century, a king rose who would change the story. His name was Jasaw Chan Kawil I. In the year 695 AD, Tikal and Calakmul clashed in a decisive battle. Against the odds, Jasaw Chan Kawil led his armies to a stunning victory, shattering Calakmul's prestige and breaking its grip over allied cities. The balance of power swung back toward Tikal, restoring its place as one of the greatest Maya capitals. To commemorate his triumph, Jasaw oversaw the construction of monumental temples that still dominate the skyline today. Most famous is Temple 1, also called the Temple of the Great Jaguar, where he would later be entombed. These towering pyramids stood not only as symbols of victory, but as eternal testaments to Tikal's revival under his reign. With Jasaw Chan Kawil, Tikal reclaimed its destiny, and the rivalry with Calakmul entered a new chapter of brilliance and bloodshed. While Tikal regained its strength under Jasaw Chan Kawil, other Maya cities were also rising to prominence. Among them was Naranjo, a city in the central lowlands that had faced years of decline. In the early 7th century, a remarkable figure arrived to restore its glory. Lady Six Sky, a queen whose power and influence would echo across generations. She was not just a symbolic leader. Lady Six Sky led armies into battle, reclaiming territory and forging alliances with neighboring cities. Through her strategic acumen, Naranjo regained prestige and influence in the Maya world. But her power extended far beyond the battlefield. She performed sacred rituals, oversaw ceremonies, and ensured that the gods favored her city, blending political authority with spiritual leadership. Her reign is a striking reminder that women could wield extraordinary power in the Maya civilization. Under Lady Six Sky, Naranjo flourished, leaving behind monuments and inscriptions that tell the story of a queen who shaped her city's destiny. As Maya cities thrived under powerful rulers like Lady Six Sky, their world was shaped not only by politics and war, but by a profound understanding of the cosmos. Maya astronomers meticulously tracked the movements of the sun, moon, and planets, predicting eclipses and seasonal cycles with astonishing accuracy. Across the region, monumental observatories rose, including structures in cities such as Uxmal and Copan, allowing priests and scholars to chart the heavens. These observations guided agriculture, religious ceremonies, and even political decisions, linking cosmic order to earthly power. Art and monumental stelae celebrated rulers as intermediaries between gods and mortals. Murals, carvings, and sculptures depicted divine narratives, kingship, and celestial events, ensuring that Maya society remained deeply connected to both the spiritual and the natural world. The union of science, art, and religion defined the golden age of the Maya, leaving a legacy of knowledge and beauty that would inspire generations to come. By the early 9th century, Maya cities had reached the pinnacle of their power. Cities like Tikal, Calakmul, and Copan sprawled across the rainforest, with populations exceeding 100,000. Towering temples, grand plazas, and intricately carved stelae proclaimed the cosmic order and the divine authority of kings and queens. Art, architecture, and scholarship flourished, reflecting the sophistication of Maya society. Yet beneath this dazzling surface, tensions were growing. Competition between city-states intensified, with frequent warfare disrupting trade and alliances. Meanwhile, environmental pressures, including deforestation and soil depletion, began to strain the land that had once sustained such prosperity. The Maya world stood at a crossroads, a civilization at its greatest height, yet facing the seeds of an impending transformation. The glory of the Golden Age was undeniable, but the challenges ahead would soon reshape the entire Maya landscape.